Why does the Buddha teach us to let go when we lose a loved one? Why let go? Isn't letting go a form of loss, of forgetting, of no longer loving? Why would the Buddha, a master of compassion, teach something that seems so opposite to the heart? Here, we begin a journey of listening to the word letting go with a more open heart and a more spacious mind. Letting go is not abandoning love. It is releasing the pain of attachment. Letting go is not forgetting. It is choosing to keep living. In this reflection, we will dive into the layers of loss, explore the truth of impermanence, understand the deeper meaning of letting go, and more importantly, discover a path to move through sorrow with wisdom and compassion, not with denial, not with repression, but with awakening. If you're in the middle of a storm, staggering from a loss in your life, stay here. You may find a boat. Not a boat to avoid the storm, but to sail through it with grace, with gentleness, with more clarity than ever before. Loss is inevitable. Impermanence is life's truth. Among the many aching questions we ask when someone we love dies, perhaps the one that is never fully answered is, why now? Why them? Why such an ending without warning? We grow up in a world that feels solid. As long as our loved one is there, we take it for granted that tomorrow will be the same. We don't think about death, about separation, because deep down, we believe that what we love will always remain. Then one day, a chair at the table is empty. A familiar voice no longer echoes in the house. An old pair of slippers lies quietly, as if waiting for someone who will never return. And we stand before a painful truth. Someone we love has gone. The Buddha called this truth impermanence. All conditioned things, everything that arises, will change, decay, and dissolve. Nothing remains the same. No one stays forever. On the surface, this sounds cruel, as if the world was built to break our hearts. But when we look deeper, impermanence is a teacher. It reminds us that everything is fragile and therefore everything is precious. There is a famous story in the Buddhist scriptures about Kisagutami, a young woman who lost her child. Devastated, she carried the child's body from house to house, begging for medicine to bring him back. Eventually, someone directed her to the Buddha. He told her, "Bring me a handful of mustard seeds from a house that has never known death." She searched across the village, knocking on every door. But every home had known loss. A father, a mother, a sibling, a child. She returned empty-handed but full of understanding. No one escapes death. The Buddha did not bring back what was lost. He simply guided her through her sorrow with awareness. When a leaf falls, we may grieve. But if we blame the wind or the tree, or try to tape the leaf back onto the branch, we only hurt ourselves more. This world was never meant to let us keep anything forever. And that is not a tragedy. In fact, it is what makes everything sacred. If our loved ones lived forever, we might forget to cherish them. But because we know they will leave, or we will, every hand we hold, every shared meal, every glance becomes immeasurably precious. Ask yourself, if you knew today was the last time you'd hear your loved one's laughter, would you listen with your whole heart? Impermanence is a quiet reminder. Every encounter might be the last. And so, if you are hurting now because someone you love has passed, know this: you are not alone. Your grief is part of a sorrow shared by all humanity. No one keeps anything forever, but anyone can learn to love fully while they still can. That is what impermanence wants to teach us. Softly, but deeply. So, what does it mean to let go? Letting go is not abandonment. It is liberation from attachment. When someone tells us, just let go, we often react with quiet anger or deep hurt. How could we possibly let go? When that person was our own flesh and blood, a part of our life, woven into every memory of the years gone by. We feel as if letting go means betraying our love. As if the moment we stop crying, stop remembering, stop holding on to every old object, it would mean we've forgotten them. But letting go does not mean forgetting. Letting go does not mean becoming numb. Letting go is not denying what was deeply real. In the Buddha's teaching, letting go or relinquishment, vasaga, is an inner act. It is the release of clinging. Clinging is when we hold on to something that no longer exists. It is when the past grips our soul. It is when we say, "I can't live without you." A love full of anxiety, fear, and suffering. Imagine someone clutching a burning coal in their hand, screaming, "I can't let it go. I love this piece of coal." But the longer they hold it, the more they burn. The more exhausted they become. Letting go, in the light of wisdom, does not mean we stop loving. It means we love without possessing. Love without clinging. Love while remaining free. There's a small story that goes like this. An elderly man lived alone after his wife passed away. He kept everything the same. Her teacup, her nightgown, her slippers. Every day he sat there, withdrawn, living in memories. He rejected visitors. He refused to smile. He said, "I can't let her go." One day, his granddaughter came to visit. She saw him sitting quietly among all the old belongings and asked, "Grandpa, if Grandma is somewhere watching you like this, do you think she would be happy?" He said nothing. And for the first time, his tears were not from grief, but from the realization that holding on to pain was not the same as holding on to love. Letting go does not erase love. It helps us see love more clearly, more spaciously, more gently. The Buddha once said, "Love as a mother loves her only child, but without attachment to that child." That is unconditional love. Love that is not bound by form. Love that doesn't shatter when the person is gone. Often, it's because we love too much that we suffer. We love someone, but we cannot accept that they may change, that they may leave, that they may die. So the real question is not, how do I let go? But, am I loving in a way that binds both myself and the other? If we love without attachment, even when they are gone, love remains. If we love with attachment, even while they're still here, we already suffer. Letting go is not letting go of the memories. It is letting go of the pain. Letting go is not forgetting their values. It is letting go of clinging to what no longer is. Letting go is granting peace to the one who has passed, and giving ourselves the chance to continue living a life that matters. Remember, the departed have already let go of their bodies. If we still grip the past too tightly, we are the ones clinging to what's no longer there, holding ourselves back from moving forward. So letting go is a gift. For them and for us, it is love at a deeper level, where there is no more grasping, no more needing, only gratitude and quiet continuation. The cycle of life waits for no one. We often say, "I just can't let go." But what are we really doing when we say that? We replay the same image, the same memory, the same fleeting moment over and over again in our minds. We sit in silence before an object no one uses anymore. We whisper words of regret to ourselves. If only I had been there. If only I'd said something at the end. If only. If only. If only. But those if-onlys don't bring the departed back. They only pull us deeper into the pit of sorrow and regret. And the more we hold on to what has been lost, the more we risk losing what is still here. The child still needs a mother. The husband still needs his wife. Life still needs you to be present. But when our mind is trapped in the past, we abandon the now, the only real moment we still have. The Buddha taught, suffering does not arise from what happens, but from how the mind reacts to it. The death of a loved one is an event beyond our control. Pain is natural, but suffering that comes from the mind, when we resist, when we cling, when we stop living. Imagine a river. The water flows downstream, it never flows back. If you release a flower into the current, it floats away. No amount of holding on to its image or weeping over its loss will bring it back to your hands. That's the cycle of life. Everyone born will grow old, fall ill, and pass away. No one, not even the kindest, the most virtuous, not even the ones we love most, can escape that truth. Even the Buddha lost his father, his mother, his son, and loved ones. He understood that pain as deeply as anyone, but he did not imprison himself in grief. He taught us, when someone we love passes away, we honor them with reverence and love, and then we return to care for the living, because the departed are no longer in our arms. They are continuing their journey, carried forward by the momentum of their karma. And that journey cannot be delayed, just because we refuse to let go. There's a story told by someone who lost their father in a sudden car accident. They said, "For a whole year, I didn't smile, I didn't work, I didn't eat with my mother. I just sat alone, staring at his photograph. Until one night, I dreamed of him. He said only one thing: don't live as if you've died, when I've only just left." Sometimes, those who have passed want us to let go, because they don't want to see us fall apart. They don't want love to become a chain. They don't want beautiful memories to turn into shadows of obsession. Ask yourself, am I using their memory to imprison myself in suffering? Has my grief become a golden cage? These questions don't need answers right away, but carry them in your heart, especially in the moments when tears begin to fall. Suffering is when we resist the flow of life. Letting go is learning to move with it. Not in anger, not in struggle, but with the quiet knowing that everything is flowing toward a place brighter, gentler, more peaceful. And when we truly let go, we begin to see something unexpected. We ourselves start to live again. Letting go is loving with clarity, a love without limits. Many people fear letting go because they believe letting go means the end of love. But have you ever asked yourself, is there a way to love that doesn't bring pain, that doesn't place a heavy burden on the one we cherish, that doesn't turn memories into chains? True love, as the Buddha taught, does not come from holding on, it comes from understanding. And the deepest understanding is of impermanence, the awareness that no one stays forever, that everything is constantly changing, drifting like clouds across the sky. So, when we learn to let go, we don't love less. We love more freely, more expansively, like sunlight, which shines on all things without needing to be owned, without needing to be grasped. No one can hold on to the sun, yet everyone feels its warmth. A love without attachment is like that. Still warm, still real, but it does not bind, demand, or control. When our loved ones are alive, we love through touch, through words, through daily care. When they are gone, we can still love them just differently, through continuity, through living well, through gratitude, through the gentle gaze we offer to those who remain. There was once a mother who lost her child to a serious illness. For nearly 2 years, she could not rise. She left the house exactly as it had been, as if waiting for the child to return, but the child did not return. One day, she noticed a drawing the child had made years ago, a picture of the earth with children holding hands around it. Beneath it, in scribbled letters, the child had written, "I wish no one in the world would ever feel sad again." She read those words, and for the first time, realized perhaps the way she was grieving was not what her child would have wanted. So she stood up. She gathered the old toys and donated them to an orphanage. She began sharing stories about her child, not with sobs, but with eyes that sparkled with love. She did not stop loving her child. She only stopped suffering. Someone once asked, "Can love without holding on still be love?" Look at the sky. The people sitting beneath its beauty don't need to trap clouds in their hands to know how precious they are. Or think of the one who grows flowers. They know the bloom will fade, but they still love the blossom completely. To love without needing to possess, that is a love beyond form. And when that love is no longer confined to a body, a voice, or a name, it becomes a vast energy that touches every action we take, Every breath, every step. We cook a meal for the living, but also in remembrance of the one who is gone. We live with integrity and kindness. As they once taught us, we smile at life, as a quiet thank you offered to them. Love after letting go doesn't shrink. It expands. No longer locked inside memory, it becomes a flowing stream of life within us. And one day, we will realize they never really left. They simply transformed into something lighter, vaster, no longer bound by form, or time, or space. They live in the way we love life. And the most miraculous part is, we don't have to suffer in order to keep loving. They never truly left. Continuation in consciousness and action. Have you ever walked into a quiet room, not a sound to be heard, but felt so clearly the presence of a loved one who has passed away? Have you ever, in a moment of confusion, suddenly remembered your mother's gaze, your father's voice, and felt as if they were right behind you, silently comforting you? The truth is, those we love don't truly disappear. They simply shift into a different form of existence. The Buddha taught that consciousness does not end when the body dissolves. It continues flowing through many lives, many forms, like water passing through countless rivers, never stopping. But there is another kind of continuation, closer, more intimate, that we can feel even within this very lifetime. They live on in the way we think, the way we act, the way we love others. They live in every habit, every phrase, every value they once planted within us. A son once said, "My father passed away when I was 10, but every time I face a major decision, I hear his voice in my mind. He's no longer here, but he's still living through me." This is not mysticism. It is the truth of continuation. When someone plants within us something meaningful, patience, kindness, faith in goodness, they never truly vanish. The Buddha did not deny death. He simply taught us to see death not as an end, but as continuation. Like when we blow out a candle, the light may vanish, but the warmth lingers on our hands. And if we use that flame to light another candle, the light continues, just in a new form. There was a grandmother who held the entire family together with her quiet sacrifice. She passed away, but the home remained. The grandchildren still return for memorial gatherings, still sit around a simple meal, overflowing with love. She no longer lives, but she is still present in that bond, in the way people continue to value one another in a fragile and unpredictable world. So when we live with beauty, with kindness, with strength, we are continuing those who came before us more fully than any ritual ever could. We don't need to build shrines or burn incense every day if our hearts are not bright. But if every step we take, every choice we make, is illuminated by the values they left behind, that is a living candle. That is the most silent and sacred of all prayers. They have never truly left. They are simply living within us, quietly. And if ever you feel weak or lost, remember, you are their continuation. They walked a long road so that you could stand here today. And now, it is your turn to walk forward and plant something beautiful for those who come after. The practice of letting go, transforming pain into inner strength. One may understand that letting go is necessary, even wise. But understanding is never enough. Because between knowing and living lies a long journey called transformation. Pain is real. Tears are real. Sleepless nights, sudden breakdowns at the sight of an old shirt, a familiar dish that no longer finds its place at the table. All of it is real. So letting go is not about commanding the heart to be silent. It is about gently embracing the pain and lighting it up from within. People often ask, where do I begin? And the answer is, start small. Some begin by writing letters to the departed. In those letters, they pour out everything still buried in the heart. Unspoken thank yous, unoffered apologies, cherished memories, unfinished dreams. Then they burn the letter as a personal ritual of release. Some keep a little notebook, a continuation journal. Each day, they write down one kind act as a gift to the one who has passed. Though that loved one is no longer here, every seed of goodness planted in the soil of life today is a flower blooming in their unseen garden. Some choose silence. They sit quietly in front of a photo. No crying, no pleading, just breathing and softly smiling. At first, the smile may tremble, but over time it becomes a wordless gratitude for the presence, however brief, that their loved one once brought into this life. The practice of letting go doesn't have to be grand. It only asks for honesty and patience. There was a father who lost his daughter in an accident. In his grief, he opened a free art class for underprivileged children. At first, he only wanted to fill the emptiness, but gradually he realized every time he picked up a brush with those kids, it was as if he was still holding his daughter's hand. Letting go, for him, didn't mean loving her less. It meant transforming that love into action, into a path forward. The miracle is, when we practice letting go, we don't just heal old wounds. We rebirth ourselves. We begin to see life through a wider, lighter lens. We no longer demand that everything stay. And because of that, we learn to cherish every fleeting moment. If today you still cannot let go, that's okay. Just make one promise to yourself, that you will learn to let go little by little. Begin with a single breath. Step outside into the sunlight. Care for someone still living. Stop blaming yourself. And one day, you will look back and see that the wound that once bled so deeply has blossomed into a flower born from sorrow, but no longer shaped by suffering. It will carry the form of gratitude, of continuation, and of light distilled from the darkest of days. The art of letting go, living fully with what remains. There's a question that seems simple, but has brought many people to tears. After everything, what remains? After long days of mourning, after the funerals, after the quiet months of silently carrying your grief, when the dust of time begins to settle on memory, you turn around and ask, what is left of me? What remains is you, but not the same you as before. What remains is memory, but memory now no longer hurts. What remains is a life still unfolding, still vast, still inviting you to keep living. And this is where the art of letting go begins. Letting go is no longer something you try to force. It becomes a way of seeing, a way of walking through this life, a way of being. The person who has passed cannot return, but they leave you something far more precious. A deep awareness of the fragility and miracle of each living day. Because of what we've lost, we finally learn to recognize what we still have. Because of what we cannot hold forever, we learn to cherish the fleeting. Those who understand the art of letting go do not dwell in regret, nor do they lose themselves in illusion. They live fully with what is breathing, what is smiling, what is walking beside them now. They know how to say, I love you while there's still time. They know how to forgive while it still matters. They know how to stay silent when no answer is needed. They know how to reach out a hand, even when their own heart is still healing, because they understand everything will pass. And if anything is truly worth living for, it is the full presence in this fleeting moment now. The departed do not ask us to imprison ourselves in pain. They only ask that we live a life worthy of the love they once gave. Every mindful step we take, every smile we manage to keep, every act of kindness we do is the most heartfelt form of remembrance. There was once a young wife who lost her husband after just 2 years of marriage. At first, she was swallowed by grief, refusing every comfort offered to her. Then one day, while listening to a recording of his voice, she heard him say, "Live fully, my love." Just those few words. She closed the recorder, stood up, and decided to begin a new journey. She didn't forget him. She simply chose to live on as a gift to the one who had gone. To live is an art, and letting go is an art too. Sometimes it is the one who can let go who loves the most deeply of all. Lift your head. You are not simply the one who remained. You are the one chosen to continue. Continue with gratitude, with inner strength, with the courage to live a life that's imperfect but real. Live to keep loving those who have passed in a different way. Live to love those who remain with a heart that has known loss. Live so that one day, when you are the one who must go, you too will leave behind a beautiful memory in someone's soul. Closing words. Letting go to meet our loved ones in another form. One day, your heart will begin to soften, and in that quietness, you'll come to understand. The loved one you thought you lost has never truly left. They are simply beside you now, in another form. The Buddha did not teach us to let go in order to become indifferent. He taught us to let go, because only by letting go can we truly see. Only when the hands stop clinging can the heart begin to open. Only when the tears begin to settle can we hear the whisper of a love that is boundless, not tied to form, not confined by time. The ones we love only leave when we forget them. But if each day we live with awareness, with love, with light, then they continue to walk with us through every moment. Perhaps the greatest act of love is not to hold someone forever, but to let them go in peace and live a life worthy of the love they gave us. If you are in pain right now, please don't force yourself to be strong. Cry. Remember, be tender with your own heart, because from within that vulnerability, you will one day find real strength. A strength that doesn't come from resistance, but from acceptance. Not from trying to forget, but from learning to remember in the right way. Live as if you were carrying a part of your loved one within you, because in truth, you are. And when the day comes that you must also go, may you leave behind not sorrow, but gratitude, resilience, and a gentle, deep continuation in the hearts of others. Letting go is not loss. Letting go is the most beautiful way to keep, with a heart that has learned how to love without limits.